Long ago, a group of people from different countries came to West Africa. They were explorers, brave men and women who loved to travel and discover hidden places. They wanted to learn about old villages, secret forests, and ancient stories told by elders. On the morning of their journey, the sun rose bright and golden. At the airport, the explorers gathered with their backpacks, cameras, and notebooks. They were smiling and excited. The pilot, an old man named Captain Omori, stood by the door of the plane. He had a white beard and calm eyes. He said, "Today, we fly over the great green sea of trees, the hunter's forest. People say strange things live there. But don't worry, we will only fly above it." The plane was big and strong, with wings that shimmered in the sunlight. One by one, the explorers entered the plane, talking, laughing, and taking pictures. Soon, the engines roared. The plane rode forward, faster and faster, then rose into the sky like a great eagle. Everyone clapped and cheered. Below them, they saw rivers, trees, and villages. They flew for hours. But as they neared the forest, the sky began to change. First came dark clouds. Then wind. Then thunder. It was not just any storm. It was wild and angry, like something in the sky was alive. Lightning flashed across the clouds. The plane began to shake. The happy smiles turned to fear. The pilot's voice came through the speaker, "The storm is too strong. We are losing power. Hold on." The plane shook harder. The sky roared. Then, boom. The plane was hit. It spun through the clouds and dropped like a rock. Trees below reached up like hands. With a loud crash, the plane broke through the treetops and hit the forest floor. Silence followed. Smoke rose. Birds flew away. The explorers groaned, coughed, and slowly climbed out. Some were bruised, others limped, but most were alive. Around them stood giant trees, thick vines, and deep silence. The air was heavy. Even though it was daytime, the forest felt dark. One woman asked, "Where are we?" A young man looked around and whispered, "This is the hunter's forest, we are inside it." The forest was known in old stories, tales told by grandmothers and hunters. They said it was a living forest, full of spirits, tricks, and tests. A place where time gets lost. A place where the forest watches you. At first, the group tried to stay calm. They gathered near the broken plane, made a small fire, and waited. But no help came. No planes flew over. There was no sound of rescue. On the second day, they tried to find a way out. But the forest played tricks. They walked for hours and ended up at the same tree. One explorer saw his little sister calling him from behind the trees, but his sister was in another country. A woman followed a butterfly that glowed like fire, and she was never seen again. At night, they heard drums beating deep in the forest, but saw no people. Shadows moved without bodies. Trees whispered in strange voices. Fear grew. One night, an old man in the group, Kola, who came from a nearby village, stood up and said, "This forest is alive. It is testing us. If you chase what you love, you will be lost. If you follow lies, you will forget your way. Only truth and courage can lead us out." Some people listened. Some didn't. One man ran toward a voice that sounded like his mother. He vanished. Another tried to cut down trees to make a path. Wild vines grabbed his legs and pulled him down. Only the ones who stayed close to Kola, sang songs of their home, and kept their hearts calm began to see signs. A white bird flew above them and always returned. A tree glowed faintly red every time they came near it. Sometimes, the wind whispered real words, "Go left, not right." Finally, after many days, they came to a tall tree with red leaves and strange carvings. Kola said, "This is the tree of memory. Only those who remember who they are can pass." He placed his hand on the tree and sang a song from his childhood. The tree opened like a door. A warm light poured out. One by one, the survivors followed him. As they stepped out, the forest cried behind them, a long, sad sound like a flute in the wind. But the forest let them go. They were weak, hungry, and tired, but they had escaped. They told their story when they returned, but many did not believe them. They said it was just a crash, a dream, a lie. But Baba Kola only smiled and said, "The hunter's forest is real. It sleeps under the trees. And if your spirit is lost, it will find you."